The evening sun painted the wide Texas sky in strokes of gold and crimson, the kind of beauty that didn't ask for attention but still stole your breath away. It was the season when the wind smelled of rain and dry earth, when the cattle grazed lazily, and when hearts, even the toughest ones, felt something shift. Miles Carter had seen many sunsets like this one, from the back of a horse to the front porch of his quiet ranch. But tonight felt different. Maybe it was the silence, or maybe it was the way the world seemed to hold its breath after a long day's work. Miles was known around Ridge, hollow as the quiet cowboy, a man who spoke little but worked hard. He had calloused hands, a scar across his left knuckle from a bar fight he'd rather forget, and a heart that had been closed for so long he almost forgot what warmth felt like. People respected him, even admired him, but no one really knew him. Not since Sarah left. Years ago he had believed love was something that came easy, until he found out it could also leave. Just as easy, taking a piece of your soul with it. He'd stopped looking after that. He told himself he didn't need love, didn't need beauty or sweet words. He needed honesty, the kind of truth that doesn't fade when life gets rough. That truth was something he didn't expect to find in a small-town diner on a rainy Friday evening. The old neon sign buzzed as he stepped inside, shaking the rain from his hat. The smell of coffee and fried chicken filled the air, and the soft hum of country music played from a dusty jukebox in the corner. Behind the counter stood a woman wiping down a table. She wasn't tall or striking in a way that would make a man look twice. But there was something about her that caught him anyway. Her hair was tied back in a messy braid, her apron a little stained, her hands red from scrubbing. But her eyes, soft grey, steady and tired, had that same quiet strength the land had after a storm. When she noticed him, she gave a small, polite smile, the kind that didn't reach the eyes but tried to. "Evening," she said softly. "Sit wherever you like." He nodded, choosing a booth by the window. She came over a moment later, holding a notepad. "Coffee?" "Black," he replied. "And whatever's hot tonight." She nodded again and turned toward the kitchen. He found himself watching her move, careful, deliberate, almost too quiet, like she'd learned to take up less space than she deserved. When she brought his plate, fried chicken, mashed potatoes, and gravy, she hesitated a moment, then said, "You're Miles Carter, right? From Carter Ranch?" He looked up, surprised. "I am. My brother used to work for you. Tommy Henson." Miles blinked. "Tommy? Haven't seen him in years. How's he doing?" The woman smiled faintly, though her eyes dimmed. "He passed 2 winters ago. Fever took him quick." Miles frowned, setting down his fork. "I'm sorry to hear that." She nodded, glancing down. "It's all right. Just me and Mama now, trying to keep the diner running." She tried to sound strong, but the weariness in her voice gave her away. "You're doing a good job," Miles said quietly. "Place feels honest." She looked at him oddly, maybe wondering if he was teasing her. But he wasn't. He meant it. There was something refreshing about the place. No fancy decorations, no fake smiles, just people surviving the best they could. Later that night, after the diner had emptied, he found himself still sitting there with his coffee gone cold. She was wiping tables again, humming softly. "What's your name?" he asked finally. She looked up, surprised. "Lila," she said. "Lila Henson." "Lila," he repeated, as if testing how the name felt. "You run this whole place alone?" She nodded. "Mostly. Mama helps when she's well, but her lungs aren't what they used to be." She laughed softly, though it sounded tired. "Guess I wasn't made for big dreams. Just trying to make enough to get by." Miles studied her, the faint shadows under her eyes, the way her hands trembled slightly when she set down a glass. "You ever think about leaving this town?" he asked. She shrugged. "Sometimes. But where would I go? Folks like me don't get to start over. We just keep going." He didn't know what to say, but something in her tone made his chest ache. There was honesty there, raw, unpolished truth. He respected that more than anything. A few days later, Miles found himself back at the diner. Then again the next evening. It wasn't the food that brought him back, though he told himself it was. It was her, the way she smiled even when she was tired, the way she treated every customer like they mattered. Over time, they started talking more. She'd tell him small things, about the way her mama used to sing, about how the roof leaked when it rained, about the garden she was trying to grow behind the diner. He'd listen quietly and sometimes share stories of ranch life, the storms, the cattle drives, the loneliness of open skies. They were small talks, simple, but they filled something in both of them. One evening as they closed up, the rain started again. Miles offered her a ride home, and she hesitated before agreeing. They drove in silence, the sound of rain tapping against the windshield. When they reached her small house on the edge of town, she turned to him and said softly, "You don't have to keep coming by, you know. I know folks talk." He frowned. "Talk about what?" "That maybe you're just being kind to the girl who lost too much," she said with a bitter laugh. "People around here think kindness always comes with a price." Miles leaned back, studying her face. "What do you think?" She met his gaze for a long moment. "I think I'm not pretty enough for a man like you to notice me without a reason." The words hung in the air like a confession. Her voice was soft, but there was pain in it, the kind that had been there for years. She turned away, embarrassed. "Sorry," she whispered. "I shouldn't have.